Welcome to the shooting show. This week, Irishman Jason Doyle changes his usual quarry species to the diminutive muntjac on a high seat hunt in Essex. Plus we bring you all the latest news from the shooting world.
Jason Doyle is about to experience a first. He's headed to Audley End to try his hand at muntjac stalking. Muntjac might be a regular quarry for many English stalkers, but with no muntjac in Ireland, they're virtually an exotic species for Doyle. This will be a high seat hunt, and Jeff's promised Jason the most productive seat on the whole estate. No pressure then.
This evening as a guest of Jeff Gard's down in Essex. Jeff invited me down to shoot a muntjac, and it's something I'm really excited to do because I've never shot one myself. I've had friends of mine down here before as guests of Jeff and filmed them shooting muntjac, but I've never actually shot one myself.
Time to get down to business. Jason is quickly installed in the seat, and with a good field of view, everything is promising. We just need time for the area to settle, if Jason can turn his excitement for that long.
So Jeff was kind enough to invite me down, and he set me up in this box seat here. I'm looking out over a nice field. I've about 250 yards right around. I've brought my Bavarian Jake with me as well. He's never had a muntjac. All he's ever had are Sika and hybrids in Ireland. So on the menu this evening we have muntjac, bucks and does, and fallow bucks. So hopefully we'll see some. We saw a real nice muntjac buck as we drove in. Looked like a nice buck, maybe 4 inches of hard antler. He was out of velvet. So yeah, I'm really excited. Sat in here now, and 2.5 hours of light left, and really nice place. So hopefully we'll get a bit of action.
Jason's barely finished talking when we spot a movement at the far edge of the field. It's a muntjac, alright, but on Britain's smallest deer species this is a testing shot, and Jason needs to get the dreaded buck fever under control.
We've only been here about 15 minutes, and there was a small buck lying down in the grass. He just stood up in the middle of the field out of nowhere, and I can tell you, I'm shaking with the buck fever. He's quite a small buck, but I'd be happy to take him for my first muntjac. But it was 160 yards, and to be perfectly honest, the adrenaline was rushing too much to take the shot. I couldn't risk it. I just couldn't get quite steady enough with the rifle, and it's not a rifle I'm familiar with, and it's a small target, so I just wasn't prepared to wound him. So I'm disappointed, but happy in my choice. The last thing I want to do is wound one of these. So I'm just going to take my time, sit here, and hopefully either he comes back or another one will come along.
With Jason's heartbeat coming back down from the stratosphere, we can resume the wait. It takes 30 minutes for another muntjac to show up, but when it does, it's much closer than the first and presents perfectly broadside. This is it.
Well, I'm really pleased. My persistence paid off. It's half an hour since that first buck came out, and I didn't take the shot just due to the fact I couldn't keep steady enough. I was shaking too much with adrenaline, and I saw this little fallow come out of the wood beside us, and I was just getting some footage of her when I saw a little small muntjac buck coming out beside us 60 yards down. So I got ready, and he just came out perfectly. 54 yards from me. Arranged him with the Swarovski binos, and just as I was getting ready, he seemed to either catch out my wind or Jake's wind. Jake is under the high seat, but he just stood perfectly broadside long enough, and at that range, even with buck fever, I had no problem. Placed it straight high into the shoulder. I went for just sort of front of the shoulder blade to break the spine as well, and he's gone right down on the spot. So he's not a big buck by any means, but I'm not much into big trophies. I found it really exciting, and just to see the amount of wildlife around. We saw a couple of muntjac bucks on the way in. Saw one out in front here half an hour ago. Little fallow doe who came out, and then this lad. So great experience, and yeah, I'm delighted to see that I can still get a dose of adrenaline. Really enjoyed it, so go and see my trophy now.
It's a first for both man and dog. We can't work out which is more thrilled. Time to inspect the carcass.
Good boy. Yeah, so as I said, nothing massive about the trophy at all, but that's not what it's about for me. Exciting hunt and beautiful little animal and a clean kill, and my first muntjac and Jake's first muntjac as well. He was a little bit unsure. They obviously smell a little bit different to Sika, but you can see the exit wound here. Clean kill, that's where I was going for. Base of the neck, front of the shoulder. And yeah, we'll get him grollock now and back to the larder.
Picking a nearby tree for a suspended gralloch, Jason attends to the formalities swiftly and professionally. This also gives us an insight into the performance of the Winchester Ballistic silver tips, and gives Jason a chance to explain his choice of shot placement.
So there you can see the damage that this bullet has done. Instant death, spine gone, lungs gone, top of the heart gone with shrapnel from the bullet and the shoulders and the spine. I sometimes take some stick over my shot choice when I choose to shoot animals here high in front of the shoulder, but for me it's about killing the animal as quickly and cleanly as possible, and going for shot placement there gives me a large margin of error. If the shot goes a little bit back, it's still into the lungs. If you drop a little bit low, you're still into the heart, and if you pull it forward, you're still into the neck. Yes, we all like to have as much meat as possible from a carcass, but I'd rather have this much meat and a clean kill than be having to use the dog to chase an animal around this wood for half an hour or an hour that I've gone for a hard shot and pulled the shot a little bit too far back, or gone a little bit low and just clipped the brisket. So for me it's about cutting down the chances of having a wounded animal, and this is one of my favourite shots into where the neck meets the chest, nest as we call it, and when it goes right like this you have instant death. And yes, you might lose a little bit of meat, but I'm prepared to deal with that.
And that's a wrap. Mr. Garrett makes a timely appearance for the extraction.
So Jeff, thank you very much. My first muntjac.
Yeah, well done, mate. Looks like it's been a successful stalk. Nice little buck here. For your first one, it's all right.
Yeah, and I can't believe how excited I got. Really struggled with the buck fever on this one, so glad to have one in the bag and off the mark.
But it is that feeling though, when it's your first whatever, you just get that little butterflies go, don't they? And it just makes it more exciting, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think when I stop getting that feeling with my shooting or with my hunting, it's time to give up. And it's just a great feeling when it all comes together, and that excitement moves into satisfaction then from a job well done.
Yeah, that is right. That is, that one feeling which is what drives, the genuine hunter out there. Because like you say, when you lose that feeling, it is time to give up because you've achieved everything that you want to achieve. But that little buzz, that little butterfly in the stomach means you're still there.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Well done.
Doyle there, finally overcoming the buck fever. And now, the shooting show news.
This is the shooting show news. James Steadman has won yet another international gold. The up-and-coming double trap star took junior double trap gold at the ISSF World Championship in Moscow. It's his third international win of the year after the European Championships in Baku and the Junior Worlds in Perpeto. At the same event, Ed Ling won silver in the men's trap, losing in the final to Italy's Daniel Resca. Voting's open for the Countryside Alliance Awards once more. Known as the Rural Oscars, the awards celebrate the best of rural business. There are categories for the best local food and drink, village shop or post office, butcher, rural enterprise and Britain's best pub. Regional judging will take place in March before the grand final at Parliament. Get your nominations in. Email awards@countryside-alliance.org. There's a battle raging over whether the National Trust should allow trail hunting on its land. The Trust is holding a vote on banning trail hunting at its AGM next month, after pressure from several anti-field sports groups. The Countryside Alliance says this is proof that the anti-hunting movement is far more about hatred of people than love of animals, and has asked all members of the Trust to oppose the plans. It said the National Trust was set up exactly to preserve the cultural heritage of our country that hunts represent. And finally, we'll see you at the Midland Game Fair this weekend. The annual extravaganza at Weston Park welcomes the biggest names in the shooting industry and a host of retailers too. Plus there's the grand final of Basque's national clay shooting competition and the European Field Target Championships. We'll be roaming the aisles for the hottest news as well as visiting the airgun shooter stand to check out the mag's 100th issue. That was the shooting show news.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you're not a member of Basque, it's time to join now. Basque, looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been The Shooting Show.